did the US dollar just bottom? And what does that mean for other markets like the euro, the pound, the Australian dollar? I've got gold and silver, WTI, and I'm finishing up with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we've got a ton to cover in this video. I'm holding nothing back, guys, giving you my exact game plan going into next week. And I think we have some really, really nice setups occurring right now. So be sure to watch this video through its entirety. My name is Justin Bennett, full-time trader and founder of Daily Price Action. As always, all of this is my opinion only and not financial advice. So let's get into it here with the DXY on the daily time frame. Now, I'm not going to spend a ton of time here on this time frame just because we've talked about this so much over the last few months. We had the BOS down here below the lows, right? So even though this was sideways action, this is the beauty of SMC, is that you can pinpoint when the market is about to turn or likely to turn. So back here, we had this change of character. This flipped me bullish. However, I was looking for the DXY to push down here into the 98 region to give us that higher low and to mitigate this inefficiency. We talked about this many times in this area. Now, since that time, we've seen a series of higher highs and higher lows. Now, during this time, we've also had a new break of structure, okay, with the market closing above that previous high. So all in all, guys, really clean price action here in 2026. And look, I know a lot of people have struggled this year with everything in the Middle East and the headline wars and Trump and all of that. Honestly, guys, this year has been one of my better years. I think the markets have been incredibly clean, and it really just comes back to simplifying things and not trying to make a lot of money and just sitting back and waiting for the market to set up. So looking here at the DXY on the 4-hour, you can see we've got this trend line here. We've talked about this many times as well. You've got all these touches back here in this area. And then moving forward, you've got several touches along the way. So you've got this low here, you've got a few lows through here, and now look what's happening here on Friday. Now, to be clear, we could see the DXY push down here and fully retest this level next week, okay? We could even see it break down from this. Nothing is guaranteed. But what I talked about last week, again, is the fact that this recent price action looks corrective. Okay, so this looks like, to me, we have this impulsive move up, we have this correction lower, okay? So pretty mild correction here compared to this leg up. And now we have the market moving into what could be a bull flag pattern. So as long as this is the case, I was looking for confirmation of a buy down here. Now, the challenge with the DXY right now is going to an hourly time frame. You can see where all of this has been internal. So because this low here on Friday did not take out these lows back here, I can't use this as a, to look for a change of character. So what a lot of traders would do is say, well, why don't you just drop to a 15-minute time frame? The problem with that is that then you start looking at this kind of price action here, and within the context of this range, you're still just range bound, okay? So even if you're looking for, BOS here and a change of character above this high, you'd basically be looking for the change of character right into resistance. And furthermore, again, the larger structure is still just range bound. So I don't love that idea. So what I have to do here in this case is just, fall back to just raw price action, right? And what I know here is that, again, the chart, everything about the chart is bullish, higher highs and higher lows. So I'm only looking for buys. Now, with that said, okay, we've got the trend line support down here as well. And now we also have what could be a bull flag, 2 touches back here, 1 right here, 1 right here. So what you'll also notice too is off this high, we've got this high here, we've got a little pivot through this area, and then these lows. So this looks pretty good to me, guys. I think that if next week, and there's still some time left on Friday, this could happen today even as I'm making the video, but I think next week, if we were to get the DXY pushing, whether we test here or not first, if we get the DXY pushing above here, right, and giving us that 1 hour and 4 hour close above here, especially taking out these highs, then I do think this starts to look like a bottom for the US dollar, okay? In which case, what I'm looking for there would be a push up here into the top of, let's go to an 8-hour time frame. I'll show you this here. You can see this channel that goes back here to these lows, okay? So lows back here, and we've got these highs. So we've got the top of this channel coming in somewhere. It's hard to say because we don't know how aggressive this next push up is going to be, or if we're even going to get one period. But we could see, 103 to 103.7. Now, 103.7 is interesting because back here in 2025, we do have this open gap. Okay, so there is an open gap up here at 103.7 that I do find interesting. So if this is kind of a prolonged rally, okay, over the coming weeks, and again, I don't know if it's going to be, but if it is, then we could see this area up here come into play. So we'll see how this works out, guys. Obviously, if we were to break down below this trend line, then we could get a push down here into this inefficiency. But right now, what I'm seeing on the DXY, even on the major currency pairs, the US dollar, in my opinion, is still bullish. And it does look like we could, okay, potentially get a break higher next week, but we'll have to wait and see and wait for that confirmation. Okay, so let's move on now to the euro. Now, if you guys want a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000 plus additional deposit bonuses on future deposits up to $25,000, check out the link for IC Markets. Now, only through my link right below this video can you get these bonuses. Now, on top of that, if you deposit $10,000 or more into your account, I'm going to give you lifetime access to our Discord group and also the full SMC course. So again, check out the link in the description or just below this video, regardless of whether you're watching on desktop or mobile. Okay, so looking at the euro, we've talked about this as well many times. Daily time frame, bearish, right? Bearish because we had the close up here, the BOS, making this back here the external low. Okay, so right through here, and we close below of 50 pips, right? 50 pip close below, very convincing. Lower high up here, following the mitigation of this imbalance. All right, so really nice stuff. Again, the markets, in my opinion, have been really, really clean so far in 2026. Regardless, despite what a lot of people are saying out there about how, Trump is ruining the markets and everything else, in my opinion, guys, it's been really nice. So looking at the 4-hour chart, we've talked about this here, potential bear flag here for the euro. And one thing that's happening right now, this is not SMC necessarily, but just pure price action. What's happening right now as I'm making this video is possibly some heavy price action from the euro. Now, what that means is that if you look at the pattern here, and this is very simple to understand, we have the euro basically just kind of ping-ponging back and forth between support and resistance. So every time we've seen a retest down here of support, we've seen a move up here toward resistance until right now. Okay, so retest down here of support. Now we are not below support yet, so we can't confirm this, but you can see where we're starting to kind of weigh on this support level without getting a retest up here. Now, to be fair, we could still see the euro bounce from here, okay, from this level over the coming hours and then move back up here toward this level next week, okay? So just keep that in mind. But like the DXY, it's a little bit tricky here just because we don't really have any kind of clear structure here over the past few days, because you can see this high, we didn't take out this high back here, so we can't use this low for the change of character. What we can do is use this low over here. Okay, so right now, if we look at this on a 4-hour time frame, what you can see here is that this is, your BOS. Okay, so this is all internal to this larger structure. Okay, in fact, let's go to a 1-hour time frame. Okay, so we have this over here as the BOS, making this over here, this low right here, okay, 113.62 or so, the level to watch. This is going to be the protected low. Now, obviously, if we get below the bottom of this channel, that could also be a sell. In my opinion, never financial advice. But then this is the low down here you'd be waiting to get taken out to confirm the change of character, and then looking for that lower high to develop. Okay, so possibly something where we get the euro coming down here, taking this level out, and then we get that lower high developing, and then you get that short. Now, of course, the downside to waiting for this low to be taken out is that we don't know if we will get that lower high and that retest to look for shorts, right? The market could just punch below here and just keep going, okay? So that's always a risk. But ultimately right now for me, guys, this market is still bearish. There's nothing here on the chart to make me think that the bottom is in, just the opposite. Like I've said too in recent videos, these lows down here, 112.10 and 110.60, these are going to be my targets as long as we are making lower highs and lower lows. So just keep it simple, guys. I mean, the market right now is making lower highs and lower lows. We have a new external BOS, right? Taking out this low back here. So even externally on the daily time frame, you still have sellers in complete control, okay? So shorts only here for me on the euro. Now, same thing with the pound. However, this market has been a lot more sideways than the euro. If we go to a 4-hour time frame, this is the one that a lot of people had trouble with last week because they were saying, man, the pound is just chopping me up because I keep trying to short, right? And then the market makes a new high. And then I short here, market makes a new high. However, the one thing that you've got to understand here is that, first of all, we had imbalances for this market all back in this area. And I talked about this on Thursday. We had imbalances back here in this area. Furthermore, if you look in the context of where we are within this recent move lower, so from external high down here to the low, the market has pretty much been an OTE this entire time, guys. Not that OTE is the area that you short, right? This is just the area to watch. But the point here is that we are not in a position where this market is about to take out this high. I mean, it's far from it, right? 135.09 is way up here. So really, in the context of this time right now, as I'm making this video, is the time to start looking for shorts, okay? If you were trying to short it back here, over here, it was just premature. And you were probably looking at like a 5-minute time frame or even a 15-minute time frame. And something like this, though, you want to use the hourly, maybe the 4-hour time frame. So what I'm looking for next week, okay, very similar to the euro, we don't have a huge amount of structure here in terms of a low that I feel really comfortable playing. However, here's what I'm going to show you. Okay, so look at this right here. We have this low that formed. Okay, this is far too shallow, especially with this displacement candle back here. However, this low came down and took it out, and now we made a new high. Okay, so I find that very, very interesting. This is exactly what I like to see, because this back here, the fact that we came down and swept this low, okay, we swept these lows back here into this displacement candle. This right here is the perfect example of a protected low. So for me, guys, the way this looks for the pound, and honestly, the pound almost starts to look a little bit better than the euro right now, which hasn't been the case for a while. But what you can see here is that on the 4-hour time frame, this low right here, so right around 133.80, if we start to take this out, we have a couple of things happening, right? On the one hand, we have the pound taking out this trend line. Okay, so right through here, you can see really clean trend line off of these lows. We've got this low here, this one, these, and also this one. I mean, a lot of touches through here. And then you've got this low, right? That could also be a change of character following the 1-hour BOS. Okay, this is a 4-hour time frame. We have a 1-hour BOS here. So if we close below here on the 1-hour and 4-hour charts over the coming hours, then that right there could set up the local top. Okay, and that could be a local top for the pound within a larger downtrend. Okay, so really clean stuff, really simple stuff. And targets, like I said last week, my first target would be this low down here. Second target could be a slow back here around 130. Okay, so a lot of real estate to work with. You consider here is the level I'm watching to break down, and targets down here like this, right? So a lot of real estate to work with over here if we do get that breakdown sometime next week. Now, if this happens on Friday, I'm not interested, guys, because I don't want to hold this over the weekend. I will be looking for this to potentially occur sometime next week, but it would satisfy all the rules. We would get, the break below here, right? Giving us that change of character. We'd also be breaking below this trend line. This is also with the trend, and the risk reward is more than favorable. All right. So obviously just my opinion, never financial advice. All right. So Australian dollar, we have this market moving higher, more so staying a little bit stronger than the euro and the pound. The reason for that is the stock market is staying afloat. Somehow, some way, the stock market is staying afloat. And that's keeping markets like the Australian dollar also a little bit stronger than the euro and the pound. Now, one thing to keep in mind here with this market is that we do still have the single print back here at the inception of this displacement. So we talked about this in recent videos, just below 0.70, right around here. If we were to see this market come up here and tag this area and then give us a change of character, that could start to look interesting. I don't know if we're going to get up there. Looking at the 1-hour time frame, let's see what we have here. All right, so we have right now, we have a BOS. Okay, so BOS here above this high. All right, so BOS through here, and we have the low, the protected low over here. Okay, so really clean stuff. So that's basically the situation as it stands right now for the Australian dollar. Obviously, it would be nice to see the market come up here, right, and take out these highs and give us an area a little bit higher to short from. But if we were to see the euro, drop below this low down here, okay, close below here on the 1-hour time frame, then looking for shorts. Now, as I say so many times, guys, if we get the change of character below this low, that is not the short, right? You don't want to go chasing the market down here. Instead, you want to wait for the change of character down here, and then you're looking for that lower high to short, okay? So you want to always short high. You do not want to be chasing this down here. Again, just my opinion, guys, never financial advice, but that's what I'm looking for from this market. Now, obviously, if we were to just see, as I said, higher highs and higher lows from this point up here toward the single print, then I'll look for the same exact thing up here in this area. Okay, so moving on to gold now, XAUUSD. All right, so we have the downtrend in place. And by the way, if you want to see exactly how I trade SMC full time, guys, check out the link right here on the screen. It should be right below the video, whether you're on desktop or mobile, shouldn't really matter. But it will be in this video somewhere, either below the video or the description. Check that out. It is a completely free SMC strategy. It's the same exact one that I use every single week to trade full time. So just click the link, enter your name and email address, and you will be given free access. Okay, so with gold, we have lower highs and lower lows, right? As I said in recent videos, there's nothing here to make me think that the bottom is in. Now, even if you look at this on the 4-hour time frame, right? The last thing we have here, the last structural thing we have is this BOS back here. Okay, and all of this, even though we took out this high, guys, it really does not matter because this was just internal. This was all just sideways action here. Okay, so this move up is just relief. Okay, this is just relief within a broader downtrend. Okay, now in terms of exactly where to look for shorts here, it has gotten a little bit muddied. I don't love the price action so far. You know, I think that markets like the euro and the pound are cleaner, just my opinion there. But you look here from the high, protected high down here to the low, and you can see where we did actually tap into premium recently. Okay, so if we take a look at this now on a 1 hour time frame, all right, and come in here and look at what we get. Again, it has been just, you know, not the best, because this pullback right here was a little bit too shallow relative to this displacement candle. It wasn't the cleanest swings through here. However, you could have technically used this low right here to give you that change of character. And right now we are just seeing really gold go sideways. Okay. Not a lot of follow through following the change of character back here. It would have been nice to see the close below here, the push up, and then just see the market sell off from there. But instead, what we're seeing here is, you know, big sell off through here, and then the market just kind of churn and go sideways once again. So again, the price action right now, I don't like as much as some other markets. But ultimately, in my opinion, this market is still bearish. There's nothing here on the chart to make me think the bottom is in. I'm still targeting lower levels like $38.95 and even down here around $3,400 to $3,500. Okay. Whether or not we get there, you know, and obviously I'm not saying this happens, guys, within days. It could take weeks or even months. But this is also true, or especially true, if we do see the DXY break out from this and head up here toward 103.2, 103 or 103.5 over the coming weeks, because obviously if the US dollar is rallying, that is going to put some pressure on gold. So right now, guys, I am still bearish here overall. In terms of an immediate setup, I don't see a lot just because, again, this market has just been very, very choppy over the past few weeks. Okay. I mean, if you look at something like these highs up here, and look at a trend line across here, I haven't done this yet, but you could see something right here across these recent highs where, you know, this looks to be significant right now. And you could even extend it back here toward this high as well. Something like this here, right, could be something to watch over the coming days. But again, you can see where the market is basically just kind of bumping its head along this level, right? Not a lot to do here, in my opinion. Moving on to silver. All right, so same thing, guys. Downtrend is intact. Lower highs and lower lows. We took out the lows back here. And one thing I mentioned in a recent video was that above this level right here, would have been interesting to start looking for shorts, simply because you have from high to low, you have the 50% right here. Now, what you'll notice is that silver didn't quite get into premium up here. Okay, so kind of like gold, I mean, the two move together. Kind of like gold, really silver is just sideways, guys. I think that if you're looking for the better setup, there's just a lot of chop here over the past few weeks to where, in my opinion, it's not the cleanest price action, and you are probably better off trading something else. Okay, so ultimately though, if we look at the monthly time frame, actually, let's go to a 12-month. I talked about this before as well, but if we flip over here to log to make this a little bit easier to see, this is a level that goes back here to 1980. So this is a huge level down here, right around $48 or so. This is going to be one to watch over the coming weeks and months down here in this region, to where if we were to get a retest, we could see, you know, we'll likely see buyers step in down here in this region. Okay, so ultimately for silver, downtrend is intact, lower highs and lower lows, looking for shorts. But like I said, the price action over the past few weeks hasn't really been ideal. You could have made the case though, that even on this push up above this level, if you look back here, this wasn't in premium, as I said, but you could make the case that this over here was your BOS, and then this right here was your change of character. Okay. And really, this was the first time that that occurred within this move up. All right. And from there, you can see where we did get lower highs and lower lows. Okay. So next up, let's take a look here at WTI US oil. And guys, this one here is one that I have talked about now for really since the market was back here, up here around $80 and on the way down. And what I said in recent videos was that this area right down here around 66.7 was the level I was watching for a bounce. In fact, what I told you guys back here was that this could be an incredible buying opportunity. I don't often say that, but you can see that this low came within about 30 cents of that level. Now, the reason this was significant is back here on March 1st, this is when the parabolic move for WTI started. So this was a full mitigation of this entire displacement that we saw back here. And that's what I wanted to see. Now, furthermore, too, you can see where this was also the bottom of this descending channel. Okay, so highs back here and lows. Okay, so really perfect through this area. Even back here, guys, if you watch those videos, what I said was, even when WTI tested back here, and people in Discord know this because they asked me if this down here, if I'd be looking to buy this. And I said, no. I said in a video to you guys that I wanted to see the market chop up traders through here because you don't often get a move like this and then get a single retest and get the market moving right back up. Okay. You often get the market chopping around down here, giving you more lows than you expect, and then finally putting in a bottom. And that's exactly what we got. Okay. Now looking at WTI right now, right? What could we get next week? What am I looking at? Well, so far what we have here on the 4-hour is some really clean price action. First of all, this is that channel back here that I talked about. So what I told you guys is that this could be a buying opportunity if we close above this and hold it. You can see close above right here, retest right here. So, I mean, guys, this was textbook, right? If you were buying through here with a stop below the low, obviously even this move right here, you should have made out really well. Now, in terms of what we could get next week from WTI as a second chance opportunity, if we look here from the low, now that we have a change of character, okay, so BOS down here, change of character above the high, pretty clean. Now looking from this low up here to this high, what you'll notice is that we have OTE sitting down here around this area. Now we also have some displacement candles back here as well. So in my opinion, this is kind of the inception point, very similar to that March 1st inception point of the displacement candles. You can see that back here, we have all of these highs through here. Okay, so all these highs through here, this is where the aggressiveness of this move really started, right through this area. Okay, so will we see, 69, 69.5? We'll have to wait and see. But ultimately, what this is going to come down to now that we're down here in discount is going to be dropping to something like a 1 hour. You could even drop to a 15-minute time frame and just walk this down. So looking here at this low right here, you can see we didn't close below it over in this area, and we did right here. So at the moment, as I'm making this video, we have the BOS through this area. So what that means is the highest point, and we use wicks here for this, the highest point within this is going to be this one right up here. So if next week we see WTI come up here and take this out, right, the fact that we tapped into discount is enough. Okay, so if we see it take out this high, then you have a change of character, possible buying opportunity. Now, if we don't, and we don't see this taken out, and we just see lower highs and lower lows continue, then you're doing the same exact thing. Okay, and waiting for possibly this area down here, this OTE area to come into play. Okay, so at least that's what I'm looking for, right? We either show change of character right now based on where we are right now, or we get the market trending lower, which is fine by me. I'd rather buy lower anyway, down here into OTE sometime next week. Okay, but ultimately I do think that despite this pullback that we've seen, this right here, like I've said in other markets, this looks pretty corrective to me compared to this impulsive move. Plus, like I said, we have that BOS and this change of character back here. So I am looking for a higher low to develop somewhere down here in this region next week. All right, so let's wrap up now with a couple crypto charts. We've got Bitcoin first. And so guys, the trend is intact, right? There's nothing here to make me bullish. In fact, if you go to a monthly time frame, this is really interesting as well. The symmetry here on this chart is insane. This is going back to 2017, okay? And what you can see here is that we have highs along the upper level. So these two highs right here. And then you've got 3 highs exactly off this level. Now, furthermore, you've got 2 lows down here. And if we scan over, again, this is the monthly time frame, scan over here. Let's look at where July is, right? July is sitting right at resistance, okay? And this is why I've said 64.65 is a big test for Bitcoin. I still think this market looks bearish. There is nothing structurally here to make me think the bottom is in. Even the daily chart, guys, nothing here as well, okay? Now, if we were to see Bitcoin take out this high up here around 67, then yeah, it could start to look a little bit more bullish, short term. But ultimately, when you look at this trend on a weekly time frame, guys, it's just lower highs and lower lows. There's nothing here to signal that a bottom is in. And like I said, the market right now is hitting that 64.65 resistance area, which I do think is going to be critical in July and August. So what I'm looking for right now from BTC is really just more, ranging, possibly more relief throughout July, even into early August. But ultimately, I think that this is going to end up being a continuation pattern for the push down into mid 40K. All right, just my opinion. I know a lot of people aren't going to like hearing that, but that is my opinion based on the price action. Okay, so shorter term though, I think right now we could be looking at a possible top here as I make this video, because as you'll notice here, we have these highs back here. This is just a ranging market right now. We also have this imbalance back here. Okay, so right around 60,700, we could see Bitcoin move down here into this pocket over the coming days. And what you'll also notice is on the daily time frame, if you go out here, this was actually the level that I mentioned to Discord members, also on X, that we could see some relief from Bitcoin following the reclaim of this. So look here, support back here, we had resistance, we had the close above. This has not been tested yet, okay? So like I said, in my opinion, more ranging, possibly some more relief here in July. I'm certainly not calling the top anytime soon, but I think that ultimately all of this price action here over the coming weeks and months will end up, likely triggering the next leg lower. I can't say that with certainty, obviously, but that is my base case for now. Okay, and looking at Ethereum too, it's pretty much the same thing. Looking at the weekly time frame, I've talked about this level here, this trend line, but basically as long as Ethereum is below this area right here around 1860, 1870, then I am bearish on this market. And one reason for that is that this is really just one big range. You can see the high back here. We wicked above the high over here. This now is the range low. And you can see where this comes in down here around $800, and we have not come down here yet, okay? And we are holding, as I said, below this trend line. So ultimately, I think this is where we're headed. However, as I said, with Bitcoin, I do expect for the rest of July, even into possibly August, that we see Ethereum just kind of chop around sideways here. We could even come up here and take out these highs, okay, like this high back here. But ultimately, you look at this here, this is just a range-bound market. There's no indication that the bottom is in here for Ethereum because this is still just lower highs and lower lows, okay? Now, even shorter term, if we look at the, let's say, 4-hour time frame and head in here, what you can see is that we do have the potential, just like BTC, to see some near-term selling pressure down here toward a single print right around 1672. That is a thinly traded level based on this displacement, okay? And it's also at the bottom of this channel, okay? So really interesting price action here on the 4-hour time frame. So we could get a push lower down here into this area, and then possibly some more relief in July, okay? So short-term, guys, we could see the push lower. Nothing confirmed up here just yet, but we could see that push down there into 1672, followed by more relief in July. Ultimately, though, okay, over the longer term, I still think that we head lower down here toward the area right around $800 to $900 for Ethereum. So that wraps up today's video. If you found it helpful, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also click the link right here for that free SMC strategy. Have a wonderful weekend. And until next time, trade well. I will talk to you in the next video.